Here to talk about all of that and look ahead to tomorrow's AI policy announcement at the White House is Ed Mills. He's Raymond James Washington policy analyst. And Ed, I guess the Journal again becomes the nemesis. I mean, the story about how the it was called Stargate down in Texas. That's kind of off to a fitful start, and maybe Ohio is where the AI that's going to front run these AI announcements to some extent, I would imagine.
Yeah, but I think for President Trump, he's going to say that it's going to be trillions of dollars of more investment because of these announcements. I think one thing that I always go to in conversations with clients at Raymond James is what are some of President Trump's core beliefs? What are his motivators? It is direct foreign investment in the United States. And so we look at the tax bill. There's a lot of new tax credits for that investments of domestic companies. You look at the trade negotiations. There's going to be a lot of things that get people to come to the United States and buy more things. And I think ultimately when we go to the fall in a presidential meeting with Chairman Xi, he's going to be looking for China to invest in the United States, even though I think most people would think that was controversial. That is core to what he wants to see.
You've got a list of winners and losers, you think, from the AI meeting tomorrow. Feel free to get as granular as you want. It's a lot of the usual suspects. I mean, basically, a lot of big tech names are winners. A lot of software as a service companies like Salesforce, Atlassian you have in here, CrowdStrike, Duolingo on the ed tech and workforce piece, all the semi names. So what exactly should we expect in terms of changes to earnings and all that for these companies who are already now trying to factor in a little bit of a boost from the new tax law?
Yeah, so Kelly, the way we look at this is that when we are going to get this announcement on AI tomorrow, first and foremost, I think the Trump administration is trying to keep the United States at the forefront. They're trying to win AI. How do you win AI? Make sure you have the energy resources to make sure that there's the consistent energy available for these data centers that are going to suck a lot of energy out there. So permitting reform, getting kind of streamlined processes, investing in the workforce. But when we look at some of those winners and losers, it is some of the economies of scale businesses. It is not a surprise those who have the ability to invest in this will win. And when we look at the tax bill, there are a lot of incentives that are in that that will be used and highlighted in this announcement here in D.C.
Yeah, you think it's basically underappreciated that this tax bill has $300 billion plus in fiscal stimulus that'll hit the economy this year. How much of that is those tax incentives and how much is in other forms? And what are those forms?
Yeah, Kelly, so part of the way we look at it, you highlighted that we got a new CBO score. This is the most expensive bill in the history of the United States. But for congressional Republicans, the alternative was the most expensive increase in taxes in history. And so a lot of that's been focused on what got extended of the 2017 bill. At Raymond James, we focused on what are the new provisions, and it's almost $2 trillion. Back in 2017, the total cost of that bill was $1.5 trillion. And this $2 trillion is going to be spent over the next 3.5 years. This year, it's about $100 billion for individuals and about $100 billion for corporations. Next year, it's almost $400 billion. Most of that is going to be for the individuals, but you also kick in some of those appropriations. And so is this tax bill something that should be looked at as goosing fiscal stimulus and goosing the economy and front-end loaded between now and the end of President Trump's term? As we digest that, I think that's part of what has driven markets higher. There is a lot of concern about the debt and the deficit, but near term, how much stimulus is there is driving my conversations with clients.